2020 meeting of the Northern Virginia Soil and Water Conservation District Board of Directors to order. And I think we'll start with the minutes from the previous meeting. Monica?
Yes, I have reviewed the minutes. There was a addition that was made by Jonna, and so that was corrected by Heather. Thank you, Heather. And so I move to approve the minutes as amended.
We have a motion to approve the minutes as presented with that one addition, that one correction. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I have a quick question.
I can ask all the board members to approve the minutes, approve the motion, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
You also said your eye felt swollen this morning.
Aye.
And she does have a little bit of a gouge on her neck from where it hit the bedpost.
What's that?
If everybody can make sure to be muted, I think we have some people with background noise.
Maybe I better call the roll on that motion. I'll start with Director Peters.
Aye.
Aye if you approve, nay if you do not. Director Bilger.
Aye.
Warner.
Aye.
Director Bordas.
Aye.
These minutes are approved. Thank you, Monica. The treasurer's report. Chris?
Chairman Peterson, I think that we have to make a motion to declare ourselves in a electronic virtual meeting first.
You're absolutely correct. And like I say, I'm up here in Maine and I do not have a printer. So somebody have that declaration of why we're having an electronic meeting for me, if they would.
I'm happy to do that if
Please do,
give me
Adrian.
1 second. Yep. Give me 1 second.
You are correct. I apologize.
Okay. If I had found it, I had it pulled up and now I lost my
Adriana,
Have it, Laura?
yeah, go ahead, Laura, because I had it pulled up, but then I pulled up the TRC stuff knowing that was coming up. So now I can't find that part. I'm sorry.
I got it. Chapter 1283 of the Virginia 2020 Act Assembly addresses the ability of soil and water conservation districts to hold electronic meetings without the need for quorum being present in a single location when the state of emergency has been declared pursuant to section 44146-17 of the Code of Virginia. Soil and water conservation districts should make the following determination by motion and vote on the record at the start of any electronic meeting. I move that the Northern Virginia Soil and Water Conservation District Board of Directors has determined the nature of the declared COVID-19 virus emergency makes it impractical or unsafe for us to assemble in a single location for the purposes of transacting business statutorily required or necessary for us to continue operations and discharge our lawful purposes, duties, and responsibilities. I make that motion.
We have a motion that because of the virus, we need to hold an electronic meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let me call the roll again. Director Peters, if you're in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Director Corner?
Aye.
Director Bordas?
Aye.
Director Bilger?
Aye.
The motion is carried. Thank you. And I appreciate that, Adrian, reminding me.
No problem.
Again,
You got it.
only have to read the motion part or the background too.
I don't know that we need the background. We've got the motion.
Okay.
But we all have the background because Laura had sent it to us, I know. Chris, you're up with the treasurer's report.
Okay, thanks, John. I've reviewed the two treasurer's report for September 2020 and the first quarter fiscal year 2021. I find them appropriate and recommend filing for audit.
We will do so. The treasurer's report is received and will be filed for audit. Is there anybody that has a comment on the treasurer's report they'd like to discuss with Chris? Hearing none, we'll proceed, Chris, to the Finance Committee meeting, which you chair.
Okay, thanks. The Finance Committee met this month as well as the month before. And then we met as a board of directors in executive session this morning. And in both of those, we made some recommendations relative to salary adjustments. And I move that we approve the salary adjustments that we made and discussed in both the Finance Committee and the Board of Directors executive session meeting this morning.
We have a motion to approve the salary adjustments proposed by the Finance Committee and the Board at the Executive Committee meeting this morning. Is there a second?
A second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Again, I'll call the roll. If you're in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Opposed, please say nay. Director Peters?
Aye.
Director Bordas?
Aye.
Director Bilger?
Aye.
Director,
Aye.
the ayes have it. The motion carried. Thank you, Chris. We're down now to the Technical Review Committee meeting. Adria?
Okay, here we go. Well, it was a record short technical review committee meeting, which is really awesome. I'm very grateful for all the hard work of the staff that supports this work. And so we have one conservation assistance program, one for funding from the Springfield Station HOA. The community plans to remove approximately 4,400 square feet of asphalt basketball court and replace it with turf as part of a larger project. And the full size of the project and location within the full project and its location within the RPA required the community to get a rough grading plan and an RPA section, especially that's noted, and been reviewed by LDS. The project is eligible for $10,000 maximum reimbursement amount for this type of project. We also note that $6,000 remains in the CAP funding for this year, and our executive director, Ms. Graves, shared that her efforts to reach out to both stormwater planning services regarding possibly covering the difference may be some options to cover the difference. So right now I am going to make a motion to review the project reviewed in a favorable way, provide funding as we can currently provide, as that's what we agreed to do. And then see if there's additional funding that we could possibly come up with, or if there's additional funding from stormwater. So I'll make a motion to approve the CAP watershed application for Springfield Station HOA with the funding of what we currently have.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Again, I'll call the roll. If you're in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. If you're opposed, say nay. Director Peters?
Aye.
Director Corner?
Aye.
Director Bilger?
Aye.
Bordas?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Do we have any idea at this point, Laura, whether or not other funds might be available? I think the answer to that is no.
We don't have a confirmation at this particular stage. I actually have a conversation with our representative with LDS this afternoon. We had to reschedule that meeting that we had planned for last Thursday. So I do hope to have some additional information coming in the coming weeks, and can certainly share that with the TRC once we meet again in November. So
Okay.
You're looking for about $4,000, is that right?
it's a little over $4,000.
All right, thank you. Anything else, Adria, from the TRC?
No, Chairman Peters, there is nothing more that I have specifically that we need to approve. However, I did want to kind of toss it back to Laura if she would like to make any announcements that we discussed at the board meeting as far as staffing goes on our team, on our staff.
I was going to share that during the executive director's report, but never, a bad thing to share it a little bit earlier. I did send an email out to our everyone in our organization regarding the successful interview process and that we had for the Urban Conservation Specialist 2 the new coordinator for our conservation assistance programs. Judy Frazier will be joining us on November 2nd. That will be her first day, and she comes with a great background and will be a fantastic addition to our team. So we're going to start. We're right in the thick of VCAP right now and site visits, and our team has actually been doing a fantastic job in responding and coordinating their site visits. Many of our team members have actually completed up to 15 or 16 site visits already, so they really have been rocking and rolling. So we look forward to beginning to orient her starting on November 2nd.
Laura, what are you hearing from the state association regarding the future for VCAP funding?
We have another steering committee meeting this Friday, and we'll find out more information then regarding anything that may have been discussed back in September during some of the carryover sessions. But we will, right now, I don't have a lot of information in terms of what the future looks like, except for they're hoping that they at least get the $500,000 that has been allocated for the program in the governor's budget. So whether or not there's going to be an increase, I do know that within the state association's legislative agenda, they are making a push for the $2 million, which I think is necessary for sure.
And we're very unlikely to get 2 million. We're hoping for 1, I think. Thank you, Laura. Anything else, Adria?
Nope, nothing right now. I just really appreciate the hard work. I know that there are a lot of site visits that are going on right now to get us ready for reviewing VCAP. So I know that you all as staff are really cranking it out and doing a great job. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Adria, I think, Harry, we're ready for you with the green breakfast. What's up?
I'm afraid I'm not too well prepared for this, and I'm going to have to pass it to Laura.
Laura?
All right. Well, we had a fantastic green breakfast earlier this month on October 10th, and it featured a number of our young conservation leaders that have participated and were mentored by Ashley and participated in the Youth Conservation Leadership Institute or completed independent research projects this past summer, again, under Ashley's mentorship. They were fantastic. I think it's always really nice to be able to have students come and share the work of their projects. And again, they're not dissertations. These are ideas that they came to the organization with or came to the program with. And with Ashley, we're able to really formulate a project that helps to really reinforce a number of the things that are being taught through the SOLs, things like scientific method or understanding independent and dependent variables, thinking through how do you prepare all of the different, aspects of your project and your experiment. They were really, really well done. We did record that green breakfast as well, and we've posted it on Facebook. And Ashley, I don't know if we've also posted it on our website yet, but we are really building up a fantastic video database for a lot of these different presentations and programs. So we had about 54 people who attended that virtual green breakfast on the 10th. And again, it was just really enlightening, very encouraging, and imparted some great advice to the students in continuing to encourage their curiosity and knowledge base through reading. And the chat was just blowing up with all sorts of questions for the students in terms of helping to think through what could they do next, or what was some of the background on their specific projects and what their interests are. I do want to mention Ashley just put in the chat that the link to the website and to the video for the Green Breakfast program. So I do encourage you to go and take a listen and hear what they have to say. Our next green breakfast is going to be on November 14th, and it will feature Michael Bishop with the Northern Virginia Purple Martin initiative, and he's going to share a little bit about the background of that program and how, you know, folks can become Purple Martin landlords themselves. So I think we are all going to have more appreciation for these very unique, you know, parts of our ecosystem for sure. So Harry,
Laura,
anything else to add on that?
No,
Laura, let me just make
a good job. Very good there. I'm looking forward to the Mike Bishop thing because I'm a bird freak, and he's a fine speaker too, by the way. So that'll be a good program.
Laura, just one more comment on our last green breakfast meeting. The two students that were mentored by Ashley spoke also at the Conservation Leadership Institute final program. They were probably two of the most outstanding students and extremely complimentary of Ashley's mentoring. So we're very appreciative, not only for the students, but for the work Ashley does with them. Thank you. Thank you a lot. Anything else on the green breakfast, Laura or Harry?
Nothing that I can come into, but I'm looking out my own window here, and there's a tremendous bird activity going on an elm tree that I've got here in the yard by a woodpecker who is doing a wonderful job. So if I sound a little distracted,
You are. Jerry, I
So,
think we're
can I
ready
just
for the
make one
tree
point?
commission.
Chairman, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I just wanted to make one note that I think it's so exciting to see the youth and having this opportunity. I'm wondering if there's a way to promote that video through some of the school system with FCPS. I don't know if that's already in the plan, but with like Earth Day and, you know, everybody remote unless they go back in, I think it's a great opportunity for other students to see these students shining, and just something to.
Might ask Ashley or Laura how they promote it.
That's a great suggestion, Monica. And actually, again, Ashley's been communicating a little bit via chat here. But the application period for Youth Conservation Leadership Institute for this current year just closed earlier this month. And she just noted in the chat, and I'm going to turn it over to her in case she has something she might like to share as well. But it looks like we have 6 applicants, which is fantastic. So Ashley, I don't know if you have anything else that you might like to share.
Thank you, of course, for the kudos. This is a really great program, and I'm really excited to work with these teenagers who have such passions for the environment. I've been a mentor for the past 2 years. Last year, we had 3 YCLI students, 2 of which I mentored, and the year before, we had 2 YCLI students, both of which I mentored. And this year, the program has grown so much from, I think, I was told 9 applicants last year to something like 26 this year. So the interest has grown a lot. We have 6 of those students who are going to be joining us this year. I believe I may only be mentoring one of them, and then others are going to talk to different specialists in the region, but we'll still be pulling the cohort together to talk to them about what they've done. Definitely have interest in sharing those presentations further than just our Facebook page and website. We did have some recording issues with that. Unfortunately, it didn't record any video. It didn't record the actual presentations themselves, but not our very charismatic students talking about their projects. So that was a difficulty we had there, but definitely in talks, maybe we can get that to like Get to Green and see if that's something that they can share a little bit more widely. And the students themselves have also been pursued by other groups to kind of talk to them about their work and what they've done. It's interesting how it's all connected. One of our students, Namesh Rudra, who was in YCLI, also did a project with me about insects. And so that information was sent with his YCLI project information to the Friends of Accolad's Creek because he'd worked in Accolad's Creek. And then from there, it was shared with the person who managed the IMA site closest there, where they were learning about insect biodiversity. And then from there, it was shared with a bunch of other IMA leaders in our region so that they can all learn about insect biodiversity in our area as well. And then finally, one of those IMA leaders actually labeled storm drains for us and did a storm drain labeling project this past weekend, and then told me the news about our own student, which is really cool. So it's been going full circle. It's great to see.
Ashley, do you know yet which students you might mentor next round?
I do. I think the only student that I would be mentoring is Cynthia Ma, who had done a presentation on erosion and erosion prevention methods, but I don't know if she wants to continue that research or learn about something different.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments or questions for Ashley or Laura concerning the Conservation Leadership Institute? If not, Jerry, I think we're down to the tree.
Okay. Yeah, what the big development since last month, we had our normal meeting on 15 October, and shortly after we finalized the annual report, which now has been almost over a year and a half. It's aged because of the coronavirus. The annual report to the Board of Supervisors on our Green Initiative 5A, which tasks the Tree Commission to investigate possibilities for low-cost and no-cost tree planting. That report was written by Jim. Jim, fill in here if I don't cover something important. And I and Brian Knightley. I distributed that report to the board, I think last week. It went to the Board of Supervisors on the 19th of October. And I just saw an email this morning. I think it has been distributed to all of the people who participated in the tree charrette back in March before the coronavirus struck. So that's been distributed. We've gotten a few kudos back so far. It turned out to be more of a report than just a commentary on what we've done. But I think we had some good recommendations. Jim came up with two that are very consequential for the district. That was a good development. Any comments you have on the report, if you bothered to read it, give back to me or Jim. Jim's right there in the office, so he's close. Jim, do you have anything to add about the annual report?
Is Jim on?
Yeah, he's on. He's still muted.
Jerry, does the Board of Supervisors have anything they have to take, or do they just use the report now that it's prepared?
We had 4 recommendations that we made. There are some other ideas that we're still working on. The community of practice established by the Tree Action Plan and the Tree Commission need to do some more investigation on other possibilities. But there were 4 actions that we recommended the supervisor to take immediate steps for. The 2 that really concern us, one is state legislation was passed, I think, last session, that allows localities to set up local conservation funds that would allow money to be spent on stormwater efforts, which could include planting trees, as it does in our CAP and VCAP programs. Set the local conservation fund so that the local tax monies can be given to private property owners to take measures that would fix stormwater problems. So that's a big development for us. The other is that money be provided directly to the district to help us manage the VCAP program. So thank you, Jim. Jim, do you have any other comments on the annual report? Are you unmuted now?
Well, those are the two big things. We need to look at that in terms of what we told the board we were going to try and do this year. Hopefully we'll be able to have another, at least a virtual meeting. One of the things that I know I was thinking about going through that was we can use now that everybody is familiar with these virtual environments, And actually, Adria and Joanne Allen and Rachel Grissmeyer, myself, have been putting together kind of an informal series of tree care seminars that we're making available to the entire community. The next one is going to be what, November 20th, I think, on oak decline syndrome. And probably the most substantial thing is that we did talk about the CAP and VCAP program, and that the VCAP program was at its capacity. And if that was an avenue the board wanted to pursue and wanted to get more VCAP projects in Fairfax County, the district needed more staff in order to do that. They were already handling all they could.
Right.
Jim, I want to just say thank you for reaching out and asking to work together on preparing some of that language for the plan, because I think it was really helpful to make sure that it was consistent with what we have discussed from an organizational perspective too. And I don't want to, again, this is good. My executive director's report is going to be really short, but there is some positive outcomes. I think having that information in the tree action planner in this Green Initiatives report certainly helps to reinforce the importance and the multiple benefits that the VCAP program provides. That it's not just stormwater, but that from a tree canopy goal perspective, there's benefits to that as well. I think those are going to be some things that we're going to want to make sure that we're tracking as well into the long term. And maybe even go back and take a look at some of our projects and collect some of the data in regards to how many trees have been planted as a result of our VCAP initiatives as well. So that's something we'll take into consideration as we're reviewing projects this year and see about collecting some of that information. But I think it's very exciting. There are some developments regarding that Stormwater Local Assistance Fund and or Local Stormwater Assistance Fund or grants. And Neely Law is with us today from Stormwater Planning. And I know when we have a chance to get to her for the Stormwater Planning report, we can talk a little bit more about the status of that today. So
Great. Let me finish up with the tree commission. That was the big news. During the 15 October meeting, we discussed a number of things like our award programs and who ought to be eligible for them. We don't need to cover that here. We did have a presentation on the Fairfax County Park Authority bond. It's on the ballot next week, and obviously promoting that bond. It's a pretty substantial expense, but a lot of good projects being envisioned. Brian Knightley reported that they're getting a big increase in the number of plans they're having to review. And this apparently is reflected in the real estate industry, not only across Fairfax County, but across the nation. There's a lot of homes, the home building is really peaking. They're getting a lot of work because of that, particularly on infill development. There's a real uptick in plans there. They're expensive for the urban forest management division to deal with, because it's small acres, not a lot of trees, but they take a lot of time. They are preparing, the department is preparing guidance to developers on the justifications they raise for deviating from the tree preservation requirements. There is a provision in the tree preservation, planning and preservation regulations that if they just can't meet the guidance, the requirements, they can apply for an exemption. And I think they're concerned about the quality of and the kind of randomness of the requests they're getting. So they're actually coming up with guidance saying, here's how to do this. If you can't do it, don't apply. Hopefully, will be the bottom line. We'll see. That'll be coming up. But that's important for the development community to know, what is feasible and what's not. So, Monica, Jim, any other comments on the tree commission meeting? Other than that,
no, I don't have a comment on the tree commission meeting per se, but just as a addendum from I recently found out that the Fairfax County of Federation Citizens Associations have also included a tree canopy goal in their environmental legislation. So it may be something of interest to read up on. It can also support some of our initiatives. Jerry, I just saw that, so I'll send you the legislation if you haven't seen it. Like, so I just wanted to like make everyone aware that that is that's in the draft form from the Federation and it's on their website, but they included tree canopy as one of the environmental priorities.
Yeah, send us a link.
Thank you, Monica.
Yes, I was seeing that. John, finished. Thank you.
Okay, did I see Jim wanted to say something else?
Just that I wasn't at the meeting, so I have nothing to add.
Okay, well, thank you all. Anybody have any comments for Jerry or Jim or Monica? None. I think I can't see my agenda, Laura. I think we're down to energy and climate action. Who is going to be the speaker on that topic? Is that you?
No, I actually don't have an update for that today. George Lamb is our representative on that committee. And I haven't received an update this month. So if something does come through, I'll be sure to share that via email. But we also have the Engineering Standards and Review Committee.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, that's right. Assad.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Since ESRC did not meet in October, I do not have a report for you. We are going to meet in early November and hopefully for the next Northern Virginia Soil and Water Conservation District Board meeting, I am going to have a report for you.
Thank you, Assad. Appreciate that.
Sure.
I think we're down to where other directors and associates could bring up something they'd like to at this point. Director, bring up Adria.
I just want to say that we are still in October and it's Urban Agriculture Month, and we're coming up on the last week of events, and this week there is a fabulous program going on Friday that is being hosted by myself and Kirsten Conrad from Arlington, just talking about community gardens and strategies, tips and tricks on how to start community gardens. So if you know of anybody who is looking for information on that, both Willie and I have been working with the Urban Ag Work Group, and especially on developing edible gardens, food, and community gardens. And Willie and I just wanted to kind of promote that. Is going on Friday at about the afternoon at around 2:30, 3 o'clock. I'll have to look at my notes to figure out the real time, but I can send it again. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Adria. Thank you. Anything else from one of the directors or the associates?
John, I do have one more point I meant to bring up and didn't. I and others are attending a series of 4 seminars on this new Woodland Health Practices Handbook that's being distributed by Trees Virginia. It was a product of Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania's Extension Services and Departments of Forestry. I commend the VCAP personnel, people who deal with the homeowners, to look at what is addressed here in terms of conversion of turf into other landscapes. They have some fairly detailed explanations that I would love to see us adopt as part of our conservation landscaping, as opposed to these mulch bed gardens, which end up with full and mature plants being plopped in. Natural landscaping, I think, is addressed in here very nicely. So I commend that to our staff.
Thank you, Jerry. How about the executive director's report, Laura?
John, can I add one thing first?
Yes, you sure may.
I don't know if Heather or Ashley finished her staff review report, but I looked at the 2 soil science videos that she and Dave put together, and those were very well done, with an upland work by Dan and then down near the stream. One question I have, Dan, is how did you get that second hand auger hole in so fast?
Good question. I think it was some creative editing on Ashley's part. And I have to confess, I actually haven't seen the final videos yet, so I'm not sure what the final product looks like.
You're in fast motion through the whole thing, and it's really pretty fun.
Good.
But those were well done. I'm amazed. Your narration while you're doing stuff is very well done. It's almost like you had a teleprompter right in front of you, which obviously you didn't, but those were well done. So it'd be nice to have a whole library of stuff like that.
That's good. Thank you, Chris. All right, Laura, Executive Director's report.
Well, just to piggyback on what Chris was just sharing, as we've had to pivot really quickly in regards to a lot of our outreach and education programs, you may have noticed that we are having to do a lot more videos. And I'm really proud of Ashley and Meredith for the work that they have been doing to help to produce some of those videos. And we've been running pretty solidly on free versions of software, which make it a little bit difficult to collaborate on. And so I really appreciate Ashley in particular working to bring forward a proposal for a monthly subscription to just sort of test it out, see how it goes with this program called WeVideo. And that was what was used to produce those videos. It is a fantastic editing software. It may be something that we need to continue into the future, and is something that I'm hoping all of our staff can continue to be able to support, because I think it is a great way of being able to get surveys that we did as part of our strategic planning effort to the community. We did ask how they like to get information, and the preference for a lot of the how-to videos is having videos that are less than 5 minutes in size, because they like that quick bit of information. So that may be something we take into consideration as we move forward into thinking about the resources that we provide to others as well. So I have just I've mentioned a number of things already here today, but I have just a couple of things I wanted to highlight. A little bit about our COVID-19 continued response, some staff accolades, and then some updates. We are continuing to ensure that our organization is complying with the temporary standard that was issued through the Virginia Occupational Safety and Health, VOSH. And so we have been moving forward with compiling a lot of the policy information for our organization, as well as communications, notifications of any potential concerns, trainings, as well as assessments that our staff will be performing, contact tracing logs, and a myriad of other things. So we're getting all of that information together, and I do hope to prepare a packet for board approval in November. It's really just going to be to acknowledge that we are in compliance with the temporary standard. The Virginia Association of Soil and Water Conservation Districts has done a number of great webinars for the admin and operations group. I have to admit, it's a little like drinking from a fire hose when you go to those, but VOSH has, the temporary standard does provide essentially a checklist of things that we need to do and need to incorporate. You all might recall back in April and May, and maybe even into June, we did incorporate a few COVID-related policies, as well as we were reopening our organization as well. So we're pulling that all together and continuing to have conversations with staff and answer any questions that they may have.
Before you leave that topic, the state association also has a lot of technical webinars. Have any of our staff taken advantage of those?
I believe so. Any of the team want to step up and share what they've participated in? I do want to mention that Ashley was featured as part of the education seminar that took place just a couple of weeks ago as well. And she did a fantastic job highlighting our programs and how we've modified our education programs in particular in response to the pandemic. So
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You talked about district ops, but they have a lot of other technical webinars too. So that's something our staff and the other directors, if they choose, can take advantage of.
yes, absolutely. Related to that, I do want to put a reminder, and this may be in Debbie's report as well, is there is a Foia training that is specific for directors that will be coming up here in early December, I believe. There's also another opportunity for some networking for directors, and it is targeted for new directors, but certainly other staff are welcome to it as well. So if you, I'll actually send out and forward the list of other webinars through the training blitz that the association is sponsoring this year. Also, on a related note, that we just received an email yesterday from the state association that they are going to be doing an online auction. Poster contests and whatnot. So I do want to let you know that there is information that's available for that. They've got kind of this online auction that's taking place now, but I'll follow up and send that information out to everyone as well in case you would like to participate. I have a few accolades I'd like to share, and hopefully, again, you all have taken a little bit of time to look through the staff reports. I always find those to be really fun to review. We did receive a very nice note from a homeowner that Maria visited earlier this month. And again, it is included in her staff report. So I'm just going to paraphrase it here a little bit, but they were very impressed with her abilities to provide some technical assistance, probably not just for the issue that they originally called about, but for other questions that came up during the course of the visit. Our team has really done an excellent job throughout this pandemic and trying to make appropriate modifications as appropriate, set expectations from the get-go to ensure that there's a safe visit. And I just really appreciate the high quality work that they're able to provide. And I think that this is, kudos to Maria. We talked about the high and low at our last staff meeting, and this was definitely a high for her and something that, again, we're really proud that she was. We're really proud to have received that accolade. So congratulations, Maria. We've talked a little bit about Ashley. Ashley, this arrived in the mail this week, a little certificate of appreciation for your mentorship as part of the Youth Conservation Leadership Institute. So this was issued by the state association, and I'll just read it real quick. The Youth Conservation Leadership Institute Certificate of Appreciation for Ashley Palmer for being a mentor to a Youth Conservation Leadership Institute participant and providing them with guidance, knowledge, and encouragement. So congratulations, Ashley. This is another nice little token of appreciation, certainly, and recognition for the great work that you're doing. I wanted to also mention Heather included in her report, as she does monthly, the list of different phone calls or emails that we have received from the public, 106 over the course of the last month. And half of them have been related to VCAP or green sheets. So we still get a tremendous number of requests for technical assistance. And I want to just make sure that we recognize that when Heather takes those calls, it's not a direct push out to staff. A lot of times she's responding to the requests for information right there. So for every technical site visit request, there's usually 3 or 4 emails that go in with either coordinating that particular request, or there's others that just do not need to make their way to the technical staff. So thank you, Heather, for that continued effort. That's a really important component of the work that we do here. Dan also completed the Arlington soil survey and soil study and wrote that up and has provided that to Arlington County. I'm hoping that maybe we can get him to share some of the results of that work at a future board meeting. But it is interesting work. It confirms some suspicions, which is sometimes very important with being able to move forward with any sort of changes. So I'm going to leave that as kind of cliffhanger because I think it would be it's really important to hear from him in terms of the work that has been completed. So we've got a couple of quick updates. I also wanted to let you know that our annual operations and maintenance inspections of the PL 566 dams took place on October 8th with the Maintenance and Stormwater Management Division. They dialed in the weather just perfect for that day. It was a very nice opportunity to get out. Had the opportunity to meet our new district conservationist with NRCS and have some nice conversations with her. Peggy, I think, is going to be a great asset to our region, and certainly having Casey continue as our soil conservationist out of the Warrenton office is also a great continuity of operations as well. So they seem like they're going to be a terrific team. There were no major findings at the inspections. Everything looks to be in pretty good shape. Some areas with some bare soil and things like that the MSMD is going to be continuing to go and patch. And there's one area of kind of unique wetness along some of the dams. But we do expect that we'll be able to get a report from MSMD here soon as well. Just in terms of our relationship regarding this program, Fairfax County is the primary sponsor. So the Maintenance and Stormwater Management Division leads the maintenance of any and resolution of any issues for those features. So they do a fantastic job. They're looking at a wide variety of new practices as well that we may want to take into consideration, including the use of warm season grasses and some other things too. So they're creative, they're thoughtful, they're consistent with their maintenance and operations, and I think we can be really proud of the partnership that we have with them as well. So two quick things. We did talk about this during executive session, but just to bring it to the good of the group, I will be bringing the budget for consideration by the board in November. So we'll be presenting that in November for FY22 and hoping to move forward that our contributory request to Fairfax County. Also, as it relates to the strategic plan, Jerry and I will be meeting to review our process and the timeline associated with that as well. So stay tuned for a little bit more information. We're excited to kind of get that underway and appreciate already the contributions that have been made by staff and others in thinking through that process. I know we're going to have a chance to jump into some of our coordinated agencies, and so I won't bring up the Stormwater Local Assistance Fund until we really get down to our Stormwater Planning Division. But that is all that I have today, and I don't know if any of our other team members would like to share anything in particular.
Since you mentioned education, I thought I should probably share something else with you. Many of our, and I know Diane and Harry and some of the others have known a really dedicated conservationist from the Piedmont district, he's Wilkie Chafin. Wilkie has been the one that sponsored the employee awards each year for our annual meeting. Wilkie's health is really declining. He's actually now in hospice care. He's been suffering from cancer for 6 or 8 years. When his wife Dora passed away some years ago, he donated a considerable sum of money to the Educational Foundation in her name. And right now he's working with the state association to fund that employee recognition program perpetually so that it's there after he leaves. He's been funding that annually up to this point. He's also going to try to put together enough money to fund, at least for his own districts, a staff college scholarship each year. So he's trying to put those things together permanently. And you might just keep Wilkie in your prayers, because I think he's recognizing his time might be limited and is trying to make sure that his conservation legacy at least is guaranteed for the future. And so appreciate that. Anything else, Laura, before we get on to the partnership reports?
That's all I have, John. I'm real sorry to hear about Wilkie's health. I do see, you know, we'll definitely keep him in our thoughts.
Yep.
I saw Ashley had her hand up. She may have something additional to share from the staff.
Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to share actually that last month you approved all of our winners for the conservation poster contest this year, and those awards did go out, and our winners sent us back pictures of themselves with the award saying thank you to our board, which I have here. I can share my screen and show those to you quite briefly if you'd like to see those.
Please do. And I see Maria wants something too.
All right, can you guys see them?
Oh,
Now we can.
Good. This is Natalie Peters. She won our kindergarten to first grade category. And actually a huge thank you to Meredith, who did a lot of research for which books were appropriate. The awards we normally give our students are a $25 gift card, which was not acceptable to be mailed out to them, or not appropriate rather. So instead we gave them one book on pollinators, one book on nature journaling, and a certificate. So we've got Natalie, we've got McLean Caswell, who's also our winner from last year. And then we've got Eva Kunha, who is our winner for, I think, the 5th to 6th category. And you can see the art on her walls. She's busy a lot. And then we also had Noah Hush, who had contributed to our digital art submission. So he was our honorary winner this year. But they were all really excited to share their awards with you and to say thank you. This has been a really great experience for all of those students.
Thank you, Maria.
thank you.
Thanks. I just wanted to recognize the help from Meredith and Ashley. We put together a draft of our seedling sale flyer coming up. Let me see if I can pull that up real quickly just to share. I think. Let's see if it's over here. So we made every effort to try, we promised we had to cancel this year, so we made every effort to try and have those same species again. We did need to switch out a few things just with the stock of what was available, but here's a little teaser for what's to come. Laura's already done a great job of plugging the seedling sale a little bit on our social media to get people excited for that. I think last year it was record breaking. We sold out in just a matter of a few days. But here's what we've got to look forward to. Hopefully you can read those or I can read them out loud. But this is our flyer draft, what we've got coming this year, next year.
Really great. And I think if you're out and about at this time, we have aromatic sumac this year on our list, and it is in beautiful red right now. So if you're wondering what that red shrub is along the edge of some of our forested areas, it's more than likely a sumac. But just wanted to say thanks again to Maria coordinating our group and getting things pulled together before the end of the calendar year, which is really fantastic. So we're really going to be able to hit the ground running once we open up in February. So thank you.
Very good, everybody. I think we are now down to our partner reports. Is Neely going to represent the Department of Public Works? Neely, are you on?
Yes.
Yes, I am. Just good morning, everyone. Just trying to figure out this interface. Here I am. Thank you for this time on the agenda. I'm taking Katie's place as she is out on a field walk with Virginia DOT on the 495 Next project. So she provided me with an update to provide you with on the Lake Barton dredging project. There was an update given last meeting on the status, and work is starting on the project. They're starting with the dewatering, and Avon, the selected contractor, could potentially be on site this week. They finished doing the fish relocation to Huntsman Lake. So I believe she said there's a pre-construction meeting that is scheduled to happen on Wednesday, so tomorrow. Aaron George is from MSMD, is a project contact for that project. And then she said, if there are any other interesting projects that we might want to share with the board this morning, two came to mind. One is the Watershed Implementation Branch is beginning their field scoping for future stream restoration projects. So that'll be happening over the next month or so, weather permitting. And my first project, the Plenty Run at Lake Werewants, is out, should be a bid for construction in the next month or so, with that work starting in early spring, given availability of funding. I believe Katie had also mentioned that there may be interest to discuss or share future FEMA funded projects. There's a new funding or grant program called BRIC, the acronym. It's something about improvement of community projects, and I know that our leadership and implementation branch at DPWS is looking into a couple of projects, as is wastewater division as well. I'm not up to date on the latest details, but I know that they are looking at the cost benefit of various projects and potential partnering amongst the different agencies. So that's my report to share.
Thank you, Neely. Appreciate it. Anybody have any comments for Neely or questions?
Don, I just wanted to do a quick follow-up. Neely is maybe a new face to many of those that are on today's call. We had an opportunity to work together for a couple of years ago. She was formerly with the Center for Watershed Protection. So she was a great grab by Fairfax County Stormwater Division. So we're really glad that you're that we're able to continue to partner together, Neely, and and that it's a great service that you're going to be able to provide to Fairfax County as a whole as well. I wanted to just piggyback on her report regarding that sort of local stormwater assistance fund. There will be a memorandum that goes from Brian Hill to the Board of Supervisors, the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors. Right now it's in draft form, and again, the I's are being dotted and T's are being crossed. But the recommendation from that's being proposed is that $300,000 be included within the Fairfax County budget for support to the local conservation assistance programs, and it would really go to support the VCAP program in particular, and support the Northern Virginia Soil and Water Conservation District with providing a consistent source of funding for that program. 10% of that would be available for personnel use as well. So it's a really, really fantastic opportunity. This is something that we've been working together on once the General Assembly passed that legislation. It was back in 2019, but it's very exciting that this opportunity may come to fruition as well. So once it goes through the budget process, and if it is approved by the Board of Supervisors, those funds would be available in July of 2021. So that's an exciting extension of our partnership with stormwater planning. And certainly there are other aspects of using sort of the program that we currently have as a foundation to continue to build up for looking at other challenges within the community that we may have that may not be part of the current VCAP program. So stay tuned. It's very exciting. And we hope to have some good news as that budget process goes through in April.
Thank you, Laura. You mentioned the Center for Watershed Protection. Another connection to our district, Diane Hoffman, served on their board for a number of years. I don't think she's on it now, but I know she did. So we're close to that. Thank you. Let's see. Is Paul Senator? Yes.
I said, thanks, John. Yeah, it's a great organization. We've had a good relationship over the years, right, Laura?
Yes, we have. Let's see, is Paul Shannon on, or anybody else from health? I can't tell from looking at my list. I guess not. So Debbie, we're down to DCR.
Okay, thank you, John, and good morning, everyone. You have my report in front of you, so I'll just summarize real quick a few things on there. The most important thing that I want to mention to you, I think, is that Area 2 will be having our fall meeting, and it's going to be electronic, virtual, on November the 10th at 9 a.m. Directors and others will have to pre-register for that meeting. The association is hosting it for us. They're kind enough to do that. It'll be a Zoom meeting. The meeting packets will hopefully be out by the end of the week. We're still waiting on the association to finish up a few of their items, which will then be included in our Area 2 meeting agenda. One of the more pressing issues we have going is that this is an election year for Area 2. Jim Gelson and Tom O'Halloran, who are the current chair and vice chair. Jim cannot continue to serve, and Tom is not seeking re-election, so we are looking for an Area 2 chair and vice chair. It's a 2-year appointment. So that's one of the topics that we will be discussing. So I hope that all the directors will make plans to attend that meeting November the 10th at 9 a.m. And you can look at my report to see the registration, or you can go to the association's website and they have that in with their training blitz. This afternoon, if any of the directors are interested, there will be a training opportunity. It's called VAX 101 for directors. It's still not too late to register for that. It's at 1 o'clock this afternoon. And it's really an introduction to our agricultural cost share program. And it's primarily geared towards new directors. It's kind of a history of the program and some of the going over some of the guidelines critical for implementation at the local level. So that's available to you. The other topic Laura mentioned earlier, and that's the Foia training. So all elected officials are required to have Foia training that is provided by the Freedom of Information Act Council, by the council itself. And so the association has teamed up with the Foia Council to offer a webinar on December the 15th from 3 to 4 o'clock. So, and you have to participate in this for it to count towards that requirement. So I would encourage all elected directors, I encourage all directors to participate in this, set that time aside. You can also do it, there's a link on the Foia Council's website, but honestly, I tried to do it again yesterday and I couldn't get through it, so the website is still glitchy. I don't know if it's going to be up and running by December or not. So if you are able to put that on your calendar and participate on December the 15th from 3 to 4, that's really your best option to get this required training. That's that on there. Clean Water Farm Award. I don't know if Northern Virginia District is planning to have a nomination this year. The nominations are due by November the 1st. And if you are and you don't have it ready today, you might want to delegate authority to the chair to approve that nomination by the end of the month so it can be submitted if you're planning to submit someone. The signs this year will be at the cost of the district because DCR our funding, we still don't know what our funding is based on the General Assembly session, but the signs will be $36 each. A couple staff updates. We're really excited. Many of you have heard the name Roland Owens. Roland had left us and went to DEQ. He was our non-point source data manager, a critical link to our data management at DCR. Stuart Blankenship, we call him Stu, came to work for DCR middle of August. He took on that position. We're really excited to have him on board because he was one of the original developers of our tracking program. And so he really knows it inside and out. So we're excited about that. We also are in the process, the interviews have now been conducted for the Tappahannock CDC position that has been open for a few months. So we're excited to get that filled. The training blitz has been announced several times. I really encourage you to go out to the association's website and look at all the training that they have offered. In my report, I have a lot of the important, or a lot of the training listed there. Laura mentioned the meet and greet for district directors. That's November 11th at 7 p.m. So if you're interested in kind of getting to know other directors around the state, that might be a great opportunity, particularly for new directors, but also for tenured directors to just kind of meet and greet folks from around the state that are district directors. Let's see, what else? Oh, the association's business meeting. I hope all the directors will put this on your calendar. It's December the 7th. At 2 p.m. That's going to be the general membership meeting. It'll be a virtual meeting. That's when they'll approve their budget. They have an election of officers. That's when they'll approve the legislative agenda. So I hope you'll be able to participate in that because they do need to have director participation in that. And that's all I have, John, unless there's some specific questions for me.
Are there any questions for Debbie? And Debbie, I know you knew Roland's passing.
Yes, Roland Geddes, longtime director of the Division of Soil and Water Conservation, did pass away. I guess it's been about 2 weeks ago now.
Yes, right.
So
yeah.
quite a loss for us.
Anybody have any other questions at all? If not, do we have an NRCS person, Laura, on today? Don't think we do we? I can't tell from looking.
I apologize. I was muted myself.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So Jim, how about the Department of Forestry?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about the training blitz. I have received an interesting bureaucratic chain of emails. That information was shared with the Department of Forestry, and it went from might be interested to encourage to required for our area foresters. So I will be participating in at least some of these webinars, particularly the technical ones on rare, threatened, and endangered species. But one that I wanted to call out that nobody's mentioned, I know that recently I have been involved in a meeting with district staff who are talking about legacy planning, and there is one of the BioBlitz topics on this Friday at 9 is, I think it's Friday, yeah, or Thursday at 9 rather, 29th, is on legacy planning. And I noticed that several of the people who are training that are also part of our Virginia Next trainings that we've been doing for several years for forest landowners. So Adria, that came up at the TRC meeting, and it might be something that Adria or some of the other staff might want to look at. Gary mentioned the Woodland Health Practices Handbook. What he didn't mention is there is also a series of webinars on Thursday evenings associated with that. The first one was actually on the 22nd, but there will be 3 more on the 29th, the 5th, and whatever the following Thursday, 11th. Maybe not the 11th. You can register for that at the Trees Virginia website. It is $35, but it includes a copy of the handbook. It's really more aimed at landscape professionals. One of the things the Department of Forestry has been doing over the past several years is trying to get more forest management done on small lots, that's 10 acres or less. And this is part of that effort where we're trying to get people who are already in the landscaping business to be thinking about how they can do forest management on these 5 to 10 acre lots or even smaller lots. So this is going to give them some information. There will be an excellent discussion of installing privacy, working on aesthetics, recreation, and Forest Products on November 5th. That evening, we have a really great speaker lined up for that. Basically, it was somebody that Adam Downing said, we'll just give it to Jim. He'll figure out what to say. We are counting trees. I have brought this up before, and this is partly for Laura, but for everybody under the WIP 3. Pretty much, if you are planting trees and it's not being reported for any kind of a regulatory purpose for an MS4 permit requirement, please let us know. We have these ridiculous numbers for urban trees, which would be individual tree plantings, as well as riparian buffers and afforestation projects. So if you're planting in an area that hasn't been planting a half an acre of trees in an area that's been grass for 5 years, we want to count that. The state needs all of that to try and meet these goals that they've set for themselves. And the last thing, do you have a question, Laura?
Sorry, Jim, I just wanted to kind of reinforce that because one of the aspects of the work that we do is our annual seedling sale. And so one of the things that you're going to see as we're promoting the seedling sale is essentially what Jim just mentioned, and figuring out some sort of actually the Virginia Department of Forestry has sort of this self-reporting mechanism. So we'll be trying to push that out to our customers as well, hoping that they will report what it is that they plant. So anyway, yeah. We've talked a little bit about this through the seedling sale process, and certainly it's eked its way through some of our other programs as well.
Yeah, I've already counted 48 trees of the 28,500 we're expecting this year in the 4-county area. And the last thing was, if I can, I wanted to, Laura mentioned the sumac. I just happened to have taken a picture. If it'll come up, anybody seeing a sumac? No, there it is. So Laura mentioned the red of the sumac in the fall. That's what they look like. And that's all I had.
Really, really striking at this time of year. So, you know, again, I think it's a funny leaf. It looks sometimes a little bit like an ailanthus if you're not sure what it is that you're looking at. But that red is a dead giveaway, and it's really, that's a great picture, Jim.
Jim, would you cover again the presentation you're making on 5 November? What is that? Where is that?
It's part 3 of chapter 4.
Of what?
Of your Woodland Health and Practices Handbook, the thing there is a seminar, there is a webinar going on right now on Thursday evenings associated with that.
Okay, so you're giving part of the full part.
Yes.
I'm already signed up, so thanks.
John and Laura, this is Will.
John? Oh.
Diane?
I just want to make a real quick mention. One of our partners for forever is the Audubon National Society. We've done a lot of things with them in the county, everything from seminars to outreach. Monica, we came to know you through ANS. I'd like to mention that Willie Wood has just been elected to the board of directors. So we're very proud of Willie. They're very, very happy to have him.
Very good. Very good. Thanks, Diane. Congratulations, Willie. Huh?
John, I was also going to make a statement not about that, but unfortunately I don't have a camera today. My Wi-Fi is less than standard. But I was going to say, you together with Debbie had mentioned the Blitz training that's going on and wanted to know if the staff is aware of it. Yes, we're fully aware of it, and I have participated in many of them, at least 4 or 5 of them, where outstanding topics have been covered, like pasture assessment, like grazing programs, like diversity, equity, and inclusion, et cetera, et cetera. And those have been very outstanding and had been run by both NRCS staff and DCRS engineering team. And the good thing is they offer us continuing education credits, which even encourage you a bit more to participate. And so, yes, we've been doing that, and we really appreciate the effort to get us continually trained during this period of remote working. And then thank you for mentioning that.
Thank you, Willie. Anybody needing continuing education requirements or units can take advantage of some of those things if they've got a license or a certification that they need to keep current. So that's a good thing to do. Is there anything else that needs to come before the board today? If not, I would accept a motion to adjourn. On the board. Is there a motion to adjourn? Monica moved, we adjourned, and Adria seconded. Is there any further discussion? Thank you all for a tremendous board meeting. All in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
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 The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Thank you. And thank you, Laura and the staff, for your participation again, and the others too.
Thank you all very much. Enjoy your week, and we'll be in touch.
Yep.